Season 6 is coming, which means that I'm sure a lot of you boys are busting your asses off playing your best champions to gain some of that sweet elo in the coming year. Well, that's admirable and all, but if your champion pool looks like this, you may be deluding yourself. If you want to climb out of elo hell this year, you're going to want a simple champion with a simple kit who does simple things. But Chimpso, I like playing these champions, they're fun to me. Well, in that case, you've got two choices. You can either have fun in low elo, or you can start learning the fundamentals for climbing. This low elo series is all about giving you relatively simple champions that can teach you the fundamentals of climbing the ranks. And today, we're revisiting an old classic. My name is Chimpso, and I'm here to tell you why you should play Vladimir if you're low elo. Now I know I've already made this video before, but that video was shit and didn't deserve the massive attention that it got. So, it's time for an update. Vladimir is a champion with massive strengths and massive weaknesses. He is THE king of sustain. Nobody is able to keep themselves topped up in lane as well as Vladimir can. But to make up for this, he's a frail, short-range poke mage. Let me say that again. He's a frail, short-range poke mage. Literally all three of these properties contradict each other, which makes him quite a difficult champion to master. Vlad can't all in too well unless he pokes down his opponents first, and he relies on hitting his ult on multiple people in teamfights in order to be effective. And don't even get me started on his auto attack, it's like throwing a fucking cum rag at your enemies. The wind up is slow, the projectile speed is slow, and to top it all off, Vlad has one of the lowest base ADs in the whole fucking game. So to top it off, Vladimir's strengths are godly sustain, pretty good damage, and low cooldowns. His weaknesses are, he's squishy, he's slow, he's short range, he's pretty terrible at all-ins, he gets shit on by most top laners, his auto attack is garbage, his base AD is garbage, literally a billion items work on him so you never know what the fuck to build, literally a billion summoner spells work on him so you don't know what the fuck to pick. Oh, and did I mention that he gets shit on by most top laners? Okay, so you're probably thinking that Vlad is a pretty shit champion, right? Well, you'd be wrong there, he's actually pretty damn well balanced. You see, despite the fact that his auto attack is literal AIDS, his ability to farm is actually pretty fucking sweet. And that's the first reason why you should play Vladimir if you're in low elo. He teaches you the importance of farm. When I was in bronze and silver, I knew farm was important, but I didn't know just how important it really was. Having a CS lead over your opponent is the easiest way to beat them, and there are lots of champions in the game that can win even if they don't get a single kill, and Vladimir is one of those. Sure, early on, farming with his auto attack is rather difficult, but if you keep practicing, you'll get better at it. Not only that, but after his laning phase ends, you become a literal fucking combine harvester who steps into a giant minion wave, presses E twice, and laughs straight to the fucking bank. Vladimir's farming, once you get some levels in his abilities, will teach you the importance of lane control, since you can easily freeze the wave in front of your tower, zone out a melee opponent, and once you've spanked them enough and forced them to recall, push the shit out of the wave with your E and make them lose CS to turret. Farming up with Vladimir for the late game is the best way to play him, which is why you don't really want to take teleport on him. Fuck your team, just stay top lane the whole game and keep pushing. If you transported me into a bronze game right now, I'd pick Vlad and do just that. Sit top all game and push shit down with my godly wave clear. That brings us to the second reason why you should play Vlad if you're in low elo. He split pushes like a fucking maniac. Now, sure, he's no Yi or Tryndamere, he won't exactly be shredding towers, but his damage sim is decent once you have a bit of AP, and he can rapidly clear out both minions and jungle monsters alike. Split push to the enemy's second tier tower, head into their jungle and pillage all their shit. Then, just keep doing this over and over until your shitty team needs you to group up and help. Games in low elo can be won simply by farming and applying split push pressure. I know this since it's exactly how I carried myself through bronze in the old Season 3 days. Pick Vlad and push like a mother giving birth. If anyone comes for you, you can either escape them with your W, or if you've got enough of a gold lead, simply turn on them and ruin their fucking day. Just sit top, farm all day, push down towers all day, make the enemy succumb to the giant, throbbing, veiny pressure you're creating. The third and final reason you should play Vladimir if you're in low elo is that he teaches you restraint. Now, I know why you play Lee Sin and Riven. You want to be really aggressive. You've read all over the league subreddits that being aggressive wins games. You've been told that you need to absolutely dominate your opponents to do so, so you pick the champions that do it the best. The problem is you lack the fundamental piece of knowledge that makes this work. knowing when to go aggressive. The idea that you need to be someone who is hyper aggressive at all times in order to climb elo is bullshit. I mean, look at me, I farmed my fucking way to diamond, but hey, I got there. As long as you're making those sweet shekels, it doesn't matter where they come from. Bullying minions, murdering champions, it's all the same, it's all money. Vladimir's immensely shitting laning phase pre-level 9, followed by his post-level 9 power spike once he gets 5 points in his Q, is the ultimate way to teach yourself when to be aggressive and when to play defensive. Pre-level 9, Vlad's cooldowns are high, his damage is shit, and his healing is rather poopy. Unless you're up against something that you can poke down easily like a Nasus or Maokai, just sit back and farm like a little bitch. This is something you can't do on most of these flashy high skill champs. These champions
punish restraint
and make it necessary for you to have a great deal of skill in order to succeed with them. I'll just be blunt here. If you play a high skill cap champion and are stuck in low elo, you don't know how to play that champion, because if you did, you wouldn't be stuck there. So instead of playing Riven, play Vladimir, and play like a massive bitch. Then once you hit level 9, start tearing shit up. Learn to play with restraint, poke your opponents down, and then go for an all-in. Sure, Vlad has a shitty all-in, but if your opponent has half the HP that you do, you're still gonna win. Now unfortunately, much like Jermaine Stewart, who had a hit song called "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off to Have a Good Time" and died of AIDS, I was pretty shitty at following my own advice, and used to die way more than I should as Vlad. Learning how to play with restraint, correct itemization, and lots of practice has made a huge improvement, however. And once you learn these things on one champion, it's very simple to adapt it to others as well. Now for the guide crap. For Masteries, go 0, 18, 12, taking Thunderlord's Decree because it's OP as shit at the moment. For runes, I like taking Magic Pen Reds, Armor Seals, Ability Power Glyphs, and Spellvamp Quints. If you don't want to take the Spellvamp Quints, or are too poor to afford them, go for AP Quints instead. For your summoners, you want to take Flash Ignite or Flash Ghost. Flash Ignite is what I prefer. You gain a massive boost to your kill potential, especially in top lane, but Flash Ghost is good as well, as it allows you to run enemies down as well as escape ganks. Choose whatever you prefer, but do not take Teleport. This is a shitty summoner on Vlad. Seriously, what's Vlad gonna do when he TPs into a fight? Slowly lumber over with his shitty movement speed and poke people? Don't bother. Take something that helps you in lane. Now, since you go 18 points in Cunning and can get 45% cooldown reduction, you want to build items that will give you as much cooldown reduction as possible. Lucidity Boots and Will of the Ancients are essential on a cooldown reduction oriented Vlad. After that, take a look at the enemy team. They got a lot of AP? Pick yourself up a Spirit Visage and banner a command to max out your CDR. Enemy got a lot of AD? Then build a Morellonomicon instead. Sure, you waste the mana component, but it is the most cost-effective way to get that extra 20% CDR, as well as a bit of AP on the side. You want to generally get a Zhonya as a second item though, rushing a Seeker's Arm Guard in lane if you're against an AD opponent. Zhonya's is good for Vlad even if the enemy team is AP heavy, since it gives you another way to make yourself untargetable and survive when you're inevitably focused down in teamfights. Once you hit that 45% CDR and have your Zhonyas, there are lots of items you can pick. If you want utility, grab yourself a Rylai's and bring any motherfucker who tries to molest you to a halt. Need the damages? Go Deathcap if the enemy team doesn't have much MR, or Void Staff if they do. Loon's Echo is another good item to consider if you want to go super fast as well. So that's Vladimir for you. Suck blood, play like a bitch, and once that laning phase is over, split push like a motherfucker and roll over everyone that gets in your way. It's that simple. Now, let's show you what he can do.